Alright folks, Nathan coming at you from San Diego, California, where Toyota brought us out to drive the 2019 Toyota Corolla hatchback. We have an opportunity to drive two identical Toyota Corolla hatchbacks, with the big difference being one has a 6-speed manual transmission and the other one has a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. And the question is, which one's better? That's coming up next. You'll hear us complain endlessly about CVTs when they're in cars that are supposed to be somewhat performance-oriented. However, Toyota's done something very interesting with their CVT. They've added a launch gear to it. The launch gear basically takes you from 0 up to, say, around the mid-20s, and you really do get a nice squirt of speed. And then after that, the CVT takes over. Now, it doesn't matter if you have a manual transmission or the CVT because you get the same engine. This is a 2-liter direct injected 4-cylinder engine that puts out 168 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. The one thing that CVTs always seem to have a problem with is launch. You just spike the engine, but you're really not moving, so a lot of show and no go, right? That's what's cool about this one. It actually behaves a lot like a regular automatic transmission, which begs the question, why don't they just go back to doing an automatic transmission? Would I take this over a manual transmission? Good God, no. No. But for those of you who want a fun car with a continuously variable transmission, for those of you who want a little bit of fun with your economy, this might be the way to go. A lot of you guys who want to learn on a manual transmission, this is the car for you. Very easy to shift, very easy to find the gears. It's very forgiving. Upshifting and downshifting is a breeze. Now, it does have the rev matching feature. This is the top of the line XSE version. One way you can tell, wing and wheels. Oh, and a little chrome piece in the front. I finally get to tell you guys what I think of it. And I think a lot of you are going to agree with me because I think this is an outstanding design. Toyota absolutely nailed a good-looking car. I think the front end looks great, aggressive. I love the rear end, but there are a couple issues. In the very back of the car is where the issue is for me, because if you look at the exhaust ports, which I never like, I prefer an exhaust pipe, there are these little slits. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look as aggressive as the rest of the vehicle. This is probably one of the smoothest cars I've driven in terms of its suspension setup. Very comfortable and a little sporty. I think that's the best way to put it. It's surprising to me. The wheelbase is fairly long too. It feels really relaxed on highways and backcountry roads. When you really push it, then you realize you're not driving a GTI or anything like that. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I'm choosing the manual transmission because it's a little bit more fun. Actually, it's a lot more fun to drive. However, it was closer than I expected. The CVT was fantastic on regular streets, on the highway, and on the back roads. It did great, and it was a little bit of fun to drive. Thanks for joining me. For the Fast Lane Car, this is Nathan. I'll see you next time. It's apparent driving the manual that this is obviously a little bit more fun, but I gotta say, that CVT was really impressive. It let me have fun. I would still choose the manual transmission though.